Hey, fifth graders, Miss Richardson here. I hope everyone had a great Christmas break and happy New Year. So, welcome back to school. This week, we're going to focus on solving equations this week and next week. These are our standards that we're covering. These are our learning targets for the next week or two. So once you get started with your assignments, if you need to come back and watch this video, this is a great video for you. The question is, what is algebra? So make sure you come back and watch this video embedded in the slide deck. So what is an equation? An equation states that two mathematical expressions are equal to each other. One way we can determine whether a given number makes the equation true is by using substitution. A solution is the value for a variable in an equation. So this is an equation right here, 2 plus x equals 4. And when we solve equations, we can figure out the value of x. So the whole objective of equations is getting the variable on one side of the equal sign by itself. All right, so how do I use substitution? So to use substitution, you're going to actually substitute the number n for the variable and solve. You're going to determine whether the answer is true or false. If you get a true statement, the answer is a solution. If you get a false statement, the answer is not a solution. For example, here's our problem right here. 60 divided by c equals 6. So it tells us to substitute 10 for c. So if I substituted 10 right here for c, 60 divided by 10 is equal to 6. Is that true? It is true. 6 is equal to 6. Therefore, 10 is the solution to this equation here. So 10 is a solution for C. All right, how do I use substitution to determine if a number is a solution of an equation? So once again, same thing here, same example, but on these examples, we are using subtraction and addition. So go ahead and pause the video, substitute each of these values for the variables and see if the value they give you is or is not a solution. All right, so hopefully you guys did those on your own. So on the first one, let me get my pencil working here. So if you substitute 17 for x, 17 minus 5 is equal to 12. Well, 17 minus 5 is 12. 12 is equal to 12. That is a true statement, so the answer is yes. The next one, 13 plus k, and they tell us to substitute 11 for k. Well, 13 plus 11 is equal to 20. Is that true? 13 plus 11 is actually 24. So 24 does not equal 20. So that is not a solution. K does not actually equal 11. And then the next one, if we substitute 30 for B, 30 plus 8 equals 22. Well, I know 30 minus 8 is 22, but 30 plus 8 is 38. So this is also no. How are you feeling about that? All right, so once again, you guys solve these multiplication and division problems. This means 3x means literally 3 times x. So I want you to substitute each value and see if the answer is yes or no. Do that on your own. All right, so the first one we have is 3x equals 51, 3 times 17. So if we substitute 17 for x, that would be 51. So I agree that 3 times 17 is 51. So we're going to say yes on the first one. The second one is k is 11. Does 11 divided by 2 equal 5? Nope. Half of 11 is 5.5. Those are not equal, so this one is no. And the last one, 24 divided by 4, is that 8? No, that's actually 6, right? 6 does not equal 8, therefore, 4 is not a solution. All right. So here are some reminders. These are terms we've already had this year. A variable is a letter used to represent an unknown value. A numerical expression includes numbers and operations, like 4x means 4 times x. An algebraic expression contains variables, numbers, and operations. Actually, 3x would be an algebraic expression. A numerical expression would be like 2 plus 3, right? And then an operation, there's 4 operations in math, and that means we're either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So to solve an equation, the goal is to get the variable on one side of the equal sign by itself. We can do that by using inverse operations. So inverse is another way of saying opposite, okay? So reminder, an equation basically means there's 2 expressions that are set equal to each other. So here we have 3x, 3 times x is equal to 18. That's an equation. Inverse operations, how to solve equations. Other words, you're going to do the opposite operation of what you see. So 3 times x equals 18. What's being done to x is being multiplied by 3. So to solve it, we would divide both sides of the equal sign by 3. So we find out that the value of x is equal to 18 divided by 3, which is 6. So what we just did is we isolated the variable, which means you're getting the variable on one side of the equal sign by itself. So this is considered the golden rule of algebra. What you do to one side of the equal sign, you must also do to the other. All right, so once you start solving equations, if you need to come back and watch this video, please do so. It's embedded in your slide deck. So make sure you understand the inverse of adding and subtracting. So the inverse or opposite of adding is subtraction. So the other part of that is true. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The opposite of multiplication is division. And the opposite is true. The opposite of division is multiplication. You do have to know that. So when you solve an equation, it's like keeping one of these old-fashioned scales balanced. In order to keep it balanced, whatever you do to one side of the scale, you must do on the other side of the scale. So here is our beginning equation, x minus 2 equals 5. So our equation is equal, our expression is equal to the solution, or the answer 5. Now, if we do the opposite or the inverse operation of minus 2, which is a plus 2, if we only do that to one side of our scale is no longer balanced. So in order to make it balanced again, we must add 2 to the other side of the equation. So once I combine minus 2 plus 2, that's equal to 0, which makes these two numbers go away. We're left with x. And over here on the right side, I'm actually going to add 5 and 2. So I find out that the value of x is equal to 7. And that's what we mean about whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other to keep your scale balanced. All right, so here we have x plus 87 is equal to 152. So the first thing you do is you find the variable and you see what's going on with the variable. Well, right now, the thing that's happening to x is it's being added. 87 is being added to it. So we're going to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of plus 87 is minus 87. To keep our scale balanced, we must do that to both sides of our equal sign. And then a positive 87 and take away 87 is 0. So we get rid of that value. We're left with x. We bring down our equal sign. And when we subtract, we get x is equal to 65. And then the good thing about all equations, you can always check your answer. So if we plug back in 65 for x, we would find out that 65 plus 87 is in fact 152. All right, so we did each of those steps and they agree with us that since this is a true statement at the end, 65 is the correct solution. All right, so here's our variable. So we need to get rid of the thing that's on the side with the variable. So the thing on the side with the variable is 18. The only way to get rid of positive 18 is we're going to subtract 18. We want the value over here to be only y. So we have to cancel out positive 18 by subtracting 18. We must do that to both sides of the equal sign. We bring down our y. We're going to subtract. That becomes 12. That becomes 6. So 12 minus 8 is 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. So we find out the value of y is 54. And then to make sure that's correct, we're going to substitute 54 back in for the variable y. When we do that, plug in 54 right here, we get a true statement at the end, which confirms to us that 54 is the solution. All right, here we have an equation, y minus 23 is equal to 39. So what's happening to y? Well, from y, 23 is being subtracted. We're going to do the opposite operation. The opposite of minus 23 is plus 23. We must do everything twice to isolate the variable. So minus 23 plus 23, those cancel each other out. We're left with y. So we add 9 plus 3 is 12, and then this will be 6. So the value of y is 62. And then once you have found your solution, you want to go back and substitute 62 back in for y. And when we do that, we get a true statement, which means that 62 is in fact the solution. All right, so first thing you do is find your variable. So what is happening to our variable s? It's from it is being subtracted 15. So then we need to think, what is the opposite of minus 15? The opposite of minus 15 is plus 15. We're going to add 15 to both sides. So minus 15 plus 15 is 0. So we're left with s. We add 78 and 15, and we find out that s is equal to 93. So they're going to substitute 93 for s, plug it in. 93 minus 15 we see is actually 78. This is true. That confirms to us that 93 is the solution. All right, so guys, I want you to please pause the video. I want you to try all of these on your own first, and then you're going to watch the video and check all of your answers. All right, so you're only watching it right now. You're continuing watching it only once you've finished solving these on your own. So on letter A, we're finding our variable right here. What's being done to x? 4 is being added to x, so we're going to do the opposite. So the opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. We're going to do it twice. So my 4's are gone. My x is by itself, and 11 minus 4 is 7. So if I plug in 7 right here, does 7 plus 4 equal 11? Yes, we know that our answer is right. Letter B, we find our variable. What's happening to our variable? 2 is being subtracted from it. So what's the opposite of minus 2? The opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. So once we add 2 to both sides, our 2's are gone. We have x is equal to 14 plus 2 is 16. And then think about it, plug it in. Does 16 minus 2 equal 14? Yes. All right, letter C, here's our variable. So what is on the side with the variable? What's on the side is a positive 20. We want positive 20 to go away or go down to 0. The only way to do that is to subtract 20 from both sides of the equal sign. So 20 minus 20 is 0. We bring down our W, and 30 minus 20 is 10. Letter D, here's our variable. From it, we see minus 4. How do you get rid of minus 4? The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. So we add 4 to both sides. Our 4's are gone. That means x is equal to 21. W plus 7, what's the opposite of plus 7? The opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So our 7s are gone. We're left with W is equal to 2. It'd be easier to find these if I circle the answer. That's a good practice. Once you're done solving equations, always circle your answer because there's a lot of work involved in these sometimes. All right, I see x minus 50. What's the inverse operation? That would be to add 50. So we're going to add 50 to both sides. And when we do that, we get x is equal to 73. X is equal to 73. Here's our W, our variable. We need to get rid of this positive 10. The only way to get rid of a positive 10 is to subtract 10. And we're going to do everything twice. This is gone. W is equal to 5. And then plug it back in. If 5 is W is 10 plus 5, 15. Yes, we're right. All right, letter H. Where is our variable? It's over here with a positive 4. How do I get rid of a positive 4? I'm going to subtract 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So x is equal to 7. We did that one actually right there. Same thing. And then finally, letter I. Our positive 13 is on the side with y. So we got to get rid of positive 13. The only way to do that is to subtract 13. Subtract that from both sides. And we find the solution, y is equal to 4. All right, guys, I hope all of that made sense. We're going to stop right here in the slide deck. You guys have an assignment for Thursday and Friday this week, and then on Monday, we'll solve equations by multiplying and dividing. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I will check in with you guys later.